Today we're going to do some simple lacto-fermented cabbage, more commonly known in the West as sauerkraut. All we need are two ingredients, cabbage and salt. Cut up the cabbage and, of course, remove the core and set that aside. I'm going to cut it up into thin slices. Once the cabbage is thinly sliced, I just moved it into a large bowl, a mixing bowl, and I added 3 pinches of salt. And the most important part is not necessarily adding more salt, but to massage the salt into the cabbage for more time than you think is necessary. I spent about 7 minutes massaging 3 pinches of salt into half a head of cabbage here, which was about 1.5 pounds by weight. And I didn't weigh the salt exactly, I just used 3 pinches. And you see here that after about 3 or 4 minutes of straight mixing and massaging and really getting kind of rough with the leaves of cabbage, after about 3 and 4 minutes, it starts to exude juices, and that's exactly what we want. So I keep going even further than that. There was about 7 minutes of total mixing time, and it's mixing, massaging, and there's a chemical and mechanical process happening that's essential. So you really need to take your time with this. Spend time, clean your hands really well, and take the 10 minutes or so that's required to make a really nice ingredient for yourself. So here I'm just adding the product to this tall, skinny mason jar. I'm going to reserve all the juice that's inside of the bowl. That's absolutely essential to preserving. What happens is the juice that's exuded from the cabbage ends up being acidic enough to prevent bad bacteria from accumulating and bad pathogens from accumulating inside of the product. But it also allows the lactic acid bacteria, which creates that distinct flavor and sourness, to thrive long enough to flavor our sauerkraut the way that we'd like it to be flavored. If you want to use exact percentages of salt, 2% salt solution by weight compared to the weight of the cabbage is recommended. However, I personally think that that is too salty, yields too salty of a product. Now, you might have to add more salt to your taste or take some away. I would just start by experimenting with this. If you experience any off flavors or smells that are beyond a typical pickled kind of sauerkraut smell, then you could always throw it away. But the essential part here is when we're storing this, it needs to be submerged in that liquid. If it's not submerged in the liquid, and you'll find that some pieces float to the top above the water line, that's fine, you can just discard those. Notice how I'm just packing it in pretty tightly, and I'm aerating this. I'm creating holes so that all the liquid can be evenly distributed and free-flowing within the bottom to the top of the jar. And now I'm pushing down the sauerkraut or the cabbage so that it fits under the liquid. And I'm already noticing some scum rising to the top. That's okay. I'm going to skim that off later. That's an essential part. And this is a couple of hours later after I went back and skimmed the scum off of the top. And as you notice, it's still submerged in liquid and it's delicious. I'm just covering it with a paper towel and a clean hair tie. You can use a rubber band, cheesecloth, any combination. And notice that everything is submerged in liquid. That's the essential part. Once we're patient enough to let the process happen, we'll have a really remarkable live ingredient that we can use in recipes and enjoy on its own.